Okay guys, so here we are with Admins Racing League Tier 1 Round 7 Australia. Just waiting for qualifying to get underway. Obviously we're just waiting on those drivers to pick their tyre allocations for the weekend, making sure that nobody clicks it too quickly, and the resulting drivers having no tyre option choice for the weekend. Let's hear how it gets on. And let's see who we've got out pretty much immediately. If I struggle with any of the names in this league, it's because I'm not the usual commentator. I'm just doing someone a favour today. I'm just keeping things ticking over. Okay, so we have a couple of cars leaving the pits with Beastie Boy, Jack, DNF out on an outlap. So these are the only two cars out at the moment, so we'll just... and we have Warrior Huntsman on his outlap too. And Big Ben is also out in the other Renault. Which, it's not being updated. There we go, finally. So we have 4, 6, 7 cars currently out on an outlap. And now everyone's slowly moving their way out. Okay, so for the first flying lap, we'll follow Beastie Boy around as he's coming to the end of his first outlap. See how he can get on, as he normally is quite quick, I presume. Again, I don't really commentate on this league. Okay, so on board with him as he goes across the line to start his lap through the first 2 turns, relatively cleanly. Okay, so following on from the Tier 1 standings, we currently have Ale Lagazins on 87 points, Steel on 79, and Sadistic King following up behind. That rounds out the top 3. Following down the bottom 3, Ted Boy, Shadow Moody, and Beastie Boys. So anyone in between, there's quite a room for improvement in regards to moving up and down the table based on today's results. And Beastie Boy getting caught up there. Let's see who we've got coming across the line. Do we have anyone on a flying lap? Yes, we do. Oh, Jack's just got across the line on a 1:22.1. Is that quick enough to get him through? I think he may have to set another lap or two. Killer J coming around the final couple of corners. 3 more turns to go, and he will... No, sorry. It's just coming through the end of sector 2. I got my track confused there for some reason, and somehow. And we've had a couple more cars cross the line, with Jack now down in 3rd, and the quickest time being a 1:21.6. So qualifying is going to be an interesting one. Let's see how they get on. If anyone has any questions or wants to get involved, don't hesitate to send questions in, okay? So far we have 9 drivers that have set a lap. 10. No, sorry, 9. Let's ride on board with Night Shadow as he comes round the final couple of corners before he finishes his lap. As this will be his first qualifying lap of the session, so let's see how he gets on. As I presume everyone behind him is either on an out lap or has just started their flying laps. Or he's invalidating his lap anyway. It's not gonna matter. I think he must have run wide at the chicane coming off the back straight. As around Australia, that is really the only place you can invalidate your lap, either by taking it too wide on the entrance of the left-hander or too tightly on the entrance of the right, and then obviously running over the curb on the exit of that right-hander. It is a very tricky corner to get right, especially if you're running a little bit less downforce than ideally you should be. Okay, and Beastie Boy is currently on his lap, coming through the end of sector 2 as we speak. He's just on his out lap. Rizzle Sticks coming round the final corner. Where's he going to end up? Let's wait and find out. He is... apparently staying where he is. As this, I may have a little bit of delay at the moment as to who's on an out lap and who's on a flying lap. Okay, Killer J looks like he's on another flying lap, trying to improve, because obviously the top 15 goes through. And with only 19 drivers today, that means it's even tighter towards that midfield pack. Any slight mistake could cost you the chance of progressing into that top 15 or even the top 10 when Q3 comes around. We don't know, it happens. So Killer J is coming around the final corner. Let's see where he goes. Currently in 8th position. Is he going to improve? And he doesn't. Oh, he does. He jumps up to 6th with a 1:22.3. That's still quite a way off of the quickest lap we've seen so far today. It's an interesting one, as we may only be seeing slight performance from these drivers. They're just trying to limp their way through until Q3, and then we might see the full engine mode used. You never know. Some players do that. They like to use lean mode or just standard and rich in order to get through the first 2 parts of qualifying and not show their true pace. But others will just run in the max qualifying mode with hot lap on the entire time and go for it lap after lap while they can. It might be all about tyre preservation for Killer J. I have no idea. And we have Big Ben, who is currently... Okay, so Night Shadow coming round towards the final sector for his lap. He is currently on the brink of being eliminated. Is he going to gain any more places? Okay, so he's had an awkward lap somewhere along the line with only a 151. He must have had a big off. Okay, let's see who else is on a lap. Grizzle Sticks, which this is his in lap. So he must have invalidated his lap while he had low fuel in order for him to come into the pits like this. Otherwise it just wouldn't make any sense for him to do that. And Killer J has just jumped back up. And Beastie Boy going fastest with the 120.4. And we've just had Night Shadow retire from the session. That might be the cause of the yellow flag in the middle sector. Otherwise we've just got two cars moving very slowly. Which I think that is the case. I think we've just got a slow moving McLaren. Let's take a look, see if I can find this McLaren. Yeah, so Il Legant is, I'm assuming, out of fuel. So be careful of the yellow flags going into end of sector 2 and beginning of sector 3. And he's coming into the pits. I think the top two have done enough to secure their path into Q2. Because at the moment, Beastie Boy is over a second quicker than anyone else in the field. And bearing in mind, he's only set, I think it's 2 laps, as he's currently showing off as using the tyres that were fitted for no flying laps. Okay, so on board with Bill Tomac, IRC. Let's see how he gets on, as this looks like it is a flying lap. Turn 3 is an awkward one to get right. If you run too deep, it ruins the first sector. And same with turn 5. It's flat out, but it's quite easy to run wide and invalidate your lap. There we go. So he's plus 3 tenths in the red for that lap, for that first sector. I think he's used all of the tyre life out of these softs, as that is the only explanation as to why he could be that much slower for one sector. Let's see how he gets on round the end of sector 2. Again, down a few tenths, but that was a purple middle sector from him, weirdly. That makes sense. Beastie Boy has just messaged saying that he got blocked on his first flying lap, so he had to jump on a new set of softs. Well done, Beastie Boy, though. You've put in a flying lap there, and I'm guessing you've just preserved them for the next section of qualifying. Shadow Moody's just retired. Rizzle Sticks and Craig Speedy both. So Rizzle Sticks running out of fuel. That looks like he's completely out if he's just pulling over there, or unless he's just getting out of the way for everyone, keeping it fair but competitive. That's what we like to see on this sort of channel. You've got to do it, otherwise you end up in front of the stewards at the end of the week. It's not fun. Okay, so with less than 5 minutes left of Q1, Craig Speedy is finally getting out on a fresh set of softs. Let's see how he gets on. Plus 3 tenths, almost 4 tenths going through sector 1. It's an interesting choice as to what he's going to do from here, as at the end of the day, what's going to happen is he's just going to aim to get solidly into Q2, or is he going to get all of the way and into the top 5? I personally think, based on this, he's going to end up around about 7th or 8th. He might prove me wrong and have an absolute storming final sector. No. He's done it again. Run out of... he's running low on fuel. That is absolutely gutting for him. And bear with me, guys, I will be back in a minute. I've just had a request for someone else to join in and watch the party. So bear with me for 5 minutes, well, for a couple of seconds, okay? Be back soon. Okay, sorry about that. It won't let me allow Albert into the session to view alongside, as I'm currently broadcasting live to YouTube. Okay, so what did I miss? So the top two have now retired from the session, which is understandable, as at the very moment they're not going to be caught and they are pretty much safe. And we have Rizzle Sticks running wide in that hard. It's not having a very good day of it, as he's still yet to set a time. Is he going to come into the pit and try and get out again? Yes, he is. If he retires, I completely understand why he's retired, but it's frustrating when qualifying just won't come your way. Okay, Pad Boy 89 is currently on a flying lap. Currently outside the drop zone. So, and he's invalidated his lap, so that makes no difference. Warrior Huntsman is taking the brave decision. It's very brave to retire from the session when you are in 15th. All it takes is one quicker car and you are out of Q2 and qualifying in general. At that point you may as well go and make your tea or something, because you've got about half an hour before the race starts. So Liverpool fan is also retired from 12th. So at the moment we have, behind Liverpool fan, we have 3 cars that are able to go quicker. Rizzle Sticks has decided that he's going to call it a day, and he's just going to start the race down in 18th position. Big Ben has also decided that he's going to call it a day. Where is Big Ben? Big Ben is up in 6th, so he is relatively safe. So we have 4 cars left out on track. Ped Boy is now in the pits. He's just called it a day. I think he'll just retire, as we've got less than a minute left of qualifying. He's not going to get out completely out lap and start his flying lap before then. Surprised that Jay is lingering around the drop zone, but he may have just done enough to get himself through. I think he may have just about scraped through by a little bit of luck, as other cars have not set a lap. Obviously, racing alongside the likes of Shadow Moody, Liverpool fan, and Warrior Huntsman myself, I know how quick they can be. And with Jay taking the risk and finish it, and only taking 1 lap so far, it's brave. It's very brave. Is it going to come back and bite him during Q2 though, because he hasn't managed to dial in his setup properly? Because yes, I know you can only make a couple of changes during qualifying, so you can only change how much front wing you're running, brake bias, things like that. But that extra bit of front wing could be the difference between qualifying in 12th or qualifying in 5th, because you've just got that little bit more grip through those corners. It will hurt you in a straight line, but around a place like Australia, you kind of need the middle ground of being able to actually get the car into the corners and out smoothly with very little oversteer or understeer, depending on how you like to drive, and keeping it going and keeping that speed built up and maintained. So I think Jay's improved up to 12. So that is the end of Q1, and we'll discuss on who's gone out in a minute. Okay, so at the moment we have lost Night Shadow, Brizzle Stakes, Shadow Moody, MX Bloxham, sorry, not Bloom, who got disqualified. I wonder what happened there. It could have been a number of things. He might have spun on track and decided to turn around, and the game decided that he was driving the wrong way on the track. Might have been through cutting corners while out of fuel in order to get back to the pits with enough time to come out, or he might have just hit someone and I missed it. Apologies, it is just me doing this. I currently don't have a co-commentator for tonight, as again I'm doing someone a favour, and it is only my third time commentating on a race and qualifying session, and my first time by myself. So please don't destroy me in the comments after this. Okay, so as we jump into Q2, we have 15 drivers, soon to become 10. Within the next 15 minutes, we'll find out who our top 10 are for the race tomorrow. Not in what order, just who they will be. And one driver I have not looked at today that I didn't even realise was in is DRL Exo Yoshi HSV. Hi Jack and Albert, if you want to jump into the commentary with me, I can set up, if you set up a party and add me to it, it will allow you to join in with the commentary. It will do me an absolute solid if you do that, and I would appreciate it so much. And yes Jack, you put in a decent qualifying session there, but you may need to up the pace a little bit for Q2, based on the fact that we had a mid 21.1. Okay, so we have Killer J, Warrior Huntsman, Liverpool Fan, DRL, Rosie and Jay Hartnell all on an outlap. Okay, now we've had a few more cars come out of the pits. I think Jack will be the next one out of the pits, as he's just told me he needs to up his pace massively. It's okay Jack, Australia is difficult to get right, especially when it's not your favourite track on the game. It says it's easy, it's not. There's a lot of bumps and little kinks somewhere along the racing line that you need to avoid, and especially that chicane. I think it's turn 11 and 12. It's horrible. If you get it right, absolutely fantastic. If you get it wrong, then you're gonna be saying hello to the wall, which fortunately we've not seen enough yet today. And one moment guys, we will be having a new co-commentator joining us in a minute. Hello Albert. Okay, so has it allowed you to view the race yet for the qualifying session? I have just sent you an invite, as it is Liverpool fan. This is just to give me a helping hand with the qualifying session and the race, as it was him that asked me to do the commentary, as their usual commentator is opted out for today. Anyway, and Albert, even if you can't view it on your PlayStation, you can always just check out my channel and just watch it through that. Yeah, you can. There we go. And there we are. We have Albert that has joined us with the commentary for ARL Season 1, well, Season 2, Tier 1. Who have we had run wide in Sector 1? Because we have yellow flags. Watch your language. Yeah. I'm not the angry F1 gamer today, I'm being professional. Yeah, commentating on my own races, I am the angry F1 gamer. It's who I am. But when it's for another league, another channel, it's obviously not my place, and I don't want to ruin their reputation with my language. And Brandon, why are you not happy? Warrior Huntsman is retired already, and he's only in 6th, sorry. Yeah, that's a good point. I've got to turn my TV down so people can actually hear me. Oh, Brandon, did Codemasters invalidate your lap for no reason? Because that's their speciality. It's what they do. Like, anyone that plays this game knows on how bad Codemasters are for invalidating laps for the sake of it. Especially if you race with the racing line on and you literally follow it, and then you get told that your lap has been invalidated. Okay, so we have someone running out of fuel. Can you see who that is? It looks like it may be a Mercedes. It's a Williams, it's a Liverpool fan. It is running slowly. Brandon, you're the one that got disqualified for no reason. I presumed it was something to do with like spinning out on track and then spinning round and getting disqualified for running, well, driving the wrong way. As that does happen too often for us to even count. Jack, think about it though, mate. You're still inside the top 5. Again, no favourites here. Right, so who've we got out? Il Laganensis. Sorry if I'm butchering these names, but come on guys, you've got to pick easier PSN names to pronounce. Yeah, Al-Jari I've got on board. And agree, Jack. Yeah. Jack, yes, one mistake does screw the entire lap. It doesn't matter what corner it is. The entire point of Australia is momentum, and if you locked up at one corner, you're missing that pace for the entire lap. It's almost impossible to get it back. You've got to get a decent run through turn 1 and 2, or you're out. And speaking of out, Warrior Huntsman is on having the possibility of being demoted. And okay, so that's an interesting one. Beastie Boy is only 3/10 behind Il Jarari on the soft. Albert, you need to change your audio settings. People can't hear you on the stream. So if you go into party and change it, it should allow you to be heard on the stream.
Better?
Okay. Can you hear it now, guys?
I think they can hear me now.
Let's hope so. Right. So Craig Speedy is on a lap on a set of mediums, but he has invalidated it somewhere along the line. And now he's just deciding to cut corners in order to get back to the pits. Don't blame him for that with 5 minutes left of the session, well, under 5 minutes. He's just got to be careful because you don't want grass-filled tyres by the time you hit the start-finish, do you? You want them back up to racing temperature and ready to go. But has he lost part of his front wing? Yes, he has. I think it looks like he's lost part of his front wing. So he may have come off somewhere along the line. But anyway, Sadistic King still hasn't set a lap time.
He's still in the pit?
Yeah, all the way down in P15. Unless he's waiting until literally like 2 minutes before the end of the session to come out, get that lap, they outlap in, and then absolutely nail a flying lap. But that leaves a lot of room for error. That doesn't leave a lot of room for error. And guess what he's done? Just come out the pits.
Killer J currently on the first lap. Riding on the medium tyres, now on the soft.
Who's that on a flying lap?
Killer 94J. Currently 10th.
Going through sector 2 where he's purple, and he's just invalidated his lap immediately. That chicane, guys, I have warned you, it is horrible, and if you cut it too much, you will void your lap. So be careful. It's going to be penalties galore there during the race. It looks like Ped Boy is out on a flying lap, just coming through. Is this the end of...
Ped Boy is on low fuel?
No, he's not, because there's no yellow flags being waved. It looks like he's on his out lap, and he's just, yeah, he's on an out lap, and he's, well, an in lap. He was just harvesting energy. That's what the flashing red lights mean on the rear wing. It means that you've not got ERS deployed and you're harvesting energy. So as it stands, with less than 2 minutes left on the session, we are losing Warrior Huntsman and Rosie, who did not set a lap time. Warrior Huntsman did set a lap time, and I think he presumed it would be good enough to get himself through. and it obviously hasn't worked out that way for him. But Sadistic King is now on a flying lap, so let's stay on board with him and see how he gets on, especially with a set of mediums, knowing that they're around about half a second. Oh, he's purple in the first sector. Bearing in mind, the medium tyre are around half a second a lap slower around Australia than the soft tyre, with the hard tyre being around about 1.1 seconds slower. And with having cars start to retire from the session, these are the drivers that I'd presume are safe. However, Liverpool fan up in 7th, there's still cars that can go quicker. I would have stayed out, and Warrior Huntsman, Sadistic King has invalidated his lap as it has just come up all red on my mini map. So he has to harvest a little bit of energy around these final couple of corners. He's not even going to bother. He's just going to pull straight back into the pits. Okay, we have Big Ben out on a fast lap.
Killer J jumped to 3rd position.
So Killer J is, bearing in mind he has to use these tyres when he's starting the race. It's a big ask to start. I know it's only 2 laps on a set of softs, like 2 lap old softs, but that's 2 laps of qualifying pace, and the amount of damage you do to a set of tyres in qualifying compared to the race.
Yeah. And he's only 1/10 up. He's not that particularly fast than Ford.
Yeah, especially on a set of soft tyres being pipped to 2nd place in Q2 by a driver on a set of mediums and being 3/10 slower. So there's 6/10 between 1st and 3rd in Q2. And then everyone else from Q3, well, P4 down is in the 122s that make it inside the top 8. So Jack is the last of the runners in the 122s. And Jack has just called it a day for Q2 and is coming into the pits. So we have our top 10 confirmed, as people are either in the pit or have come across the line. Eledria, I'm not sure how to pronounce this. In P1, Beastie Boy, Killer J, DRL, XD, Yoshi, HSV, Il Hagazis, Bill Tomek, Liverpool fan Jack, Pedboy and Jay Hartnell all getting into Q3, and surprisingly only 2 runners being on the soft tyre. So they will be using an alternative strategy for the race compared to the other runners in the top 10.
Keeping in mind that on Q3 everybody's going faster and on the softs. They're probably starting from 9th and 10th and on the softs. So they're sitting duck for the race.
Yep, and bearing in mind, we are having to use. You do have to use the tyre that you qualified in Q2 on and set your fastest lap. So these drivers that have qualified, if they finish in the back half of Q2, like from 6th down to 10th, they're going to be relatively off the start, especially a sitting duck for those that are starting further back and have got those fresh set of tyres on with the fresh rubber. Because from 11th down, you may as well check on a set of mediums and go deep into the race. And then when everyone else is starting to suffer on the medium tyre towards the end, you've got a fresh set of soft rubber that means that you'll just be able to pick people off if you're within a certain window. So it'll be interesting to see who does that. And Super Freak, I have no idea if you can still race. I'm just here doing someone a favour.
You're
Yeah,
only
look,
the messenger.
yeah, I'm just a guy at the moment. So, Super Freak, you can jump into the Alfa Romeo, but you will be starting from 20th. Which isn't exactly where you want to start, but hey, it's a free shot at driver of the day, so work with it. Okay, Albert, based on Q2, who have you got your money on for pole?
Beastie Boys.
Beastie Boy?
Without a doubt.
Okay, that's an interesting one. But
It's just fast on the mediums. Only 3/10 slower than Killer 49J.
Who was on the set of softs?
Yes, so easily he can find a second with the soft tire.
Quite easily, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna follow him for his first qualifying lap. If you want to jump on board with Ped Boy, who's currently on his out lap, I think he'll be coming across the line in a minute. So let's see how well Beastie Boy gets on. Goes purple in sector 1, obviously, as he's the only one that's set out time through there so far this session. If it can get around the 121 like 2 mark, which will be around about 3 or 4 tenths quicker than what he was in Q2.
Oh, Ped Boy got a little bit held up by Liverpool fans.
That's going to be one for the stewards to determine at the end of the race. And Beastie Boy straight again, purple sector 2. But he is closing in on the Mercedes. I think it's Mercedes. Because all I've seen so far is the rear wing of it. Yes, it is a Mercedes. Okay, so far we're down into the 120s. 126 for pole currently. And where does Beastie Boy go? Straight into pole position. And yeah, Albert, you were right. He found over a second on his previous lap. And I think that may take some beating, because he's 3 tenths quicker than P2 at the moment. And if he had a slightly dodgy lap somewhere along the line, he's got time to make up. Or if he didn't think he had back to corner enough, he's got enough time, he can make time up. So let's wait and see. We've got yellow flags. So someone's had a run onto the grass or just ran a little bit wide.
Liverpool fan is going to start his flying lap.
Okay, we have a Renault, which is Jack, facing the wrong way. Oh, and he impedes one of the Mercedes. Obviously with ghost mode on, it's not really an issue, but it's still not fun trying to pick your braking point when going through another car.
Yellow sector 3.
Yeah, this is Jack. Jack has lost it and he's running slowly.
I'm currently on board with Liverpool fan on his first lap.
So we have Killer J gone into the pits. And it doesn't. I know Killer J apparently, yeah, he's in the pit. Ped Boy is out on his first flying lap, and it's already invalidated. No offense, guys, I'm not going to stay on board with your lap for very long if it's an invalidated lap. It's just not going to be worth watching, as all we're going to see is you just go round for the sake of going round.
Liverpool has a quite good lap.
Yeah, I'm on board with it as it comes around the final corner. Let's see how he gets on. Is he gonna crack the top 3? No, only 6th. And
That's a big gap.
1.4 seconds off of pole. Yeah, Jack, we agree. But come on, we know that you've got it in the bag. You've at least got some pace. So the only two drivers that we're waiting on only driver we're waiting on a lap time from is Killer J.
Currently on his outlap.
Yeah, I've just jumped to him and all I'm getting is a nice view of the fence. Jack, you're not Albon. They don't race you too hard. You don't race yourself hard enough. So, yep, Killer J on an outlap. Let's see if we've got anyone on an actual flying lap. It appears that Liverpool fan has run out of fuel.
Killer J is running a fast outlap. Gonna be hot on tire and pretty much tire wear.
Yeah, that's gonna kill his tires if he's attacking his outlap like it's a flying lap. Fair enough if he's loaded up on fuel and he wants just about enough fuel to get his outlap done and his in lap and his flying lap and then just cruise around.
Yeah, but there are not that many straights to cool your tires down.
No, there isn't. And the straights in Australia. One of them isn't even a straight, 2 of them aren't even a straight.
Oh.
Because we've got the start finish, which is, yes, the straight. The back straight, which leads to the chicane at the end of sector 2. That's not a straight, that's just one long left curve. And then on the back straight, in the DRS zone, you've got the right kink to it. So in Australia, there is actually only one actual straight.
Yeah, that's the main straight.
And Killer J's just gone purple through sector 1.
Killer J is starting on the soft tires, eh?
Yeah, and he's just invalidated his lap.
Yes.
At the beginning of sector 2, well, middle of sector 2. That awkward chicane before you come onto the back.
And I think he has a new set of soft tires.
Yeah. And Liverpool fan, you said, yeah, you'll take it. Yes and no. I think you've got enough time to get out and get another lap in. But do you want to waste the set of softs because you may, depending on what tyres you chose for the race weekend, you may need to use that used set of softs for the race. Depending if we have a safety car or anything. So, but yeah, it looks like nobody's managing to get that beastie boy lap. His name is
He's done one lap on the medium tires, straight to fastest, with from the medium tires, and one lap on the soft tires. So he's got plenty of tires left for the race.
Yeah, during Q2 he went P2 on the mediums.
Yeah, but only using it for one lap.
Yeah, if he'd gone again, he probably, with that little bit of worn tyre life, because we know the mediums take a couple laps to warm up properly. We both play the game ourselves, we both love the game.
Yes. The only fact is that medium tires that already have a lap in, they heat a little bit faster than straight out of the box.
Yeah, you need to get at least 2 laps on them to actually get a proper flying lap. And obviously Beastie Boy in Q2 opted against doing that. He just went out, did 2 laps, came in, did his outlap, did his flying lap and was like, that's enough for me, I'm done. That's the mark of a man that knows that he's having to eat his dinner while racing.
Well, Beastie Boy is driving pretty often. I've seen him a couple of times around. He's
Come on, gentlemen. There's a minute left. You've got plenty of time to get to the start line before. Oh, Beastie Boys just left the session. But come on, guys. There's no need to be bunched up like this when there's 45 seconds left to get to the start-finish line in order to start your flying lap. Give the car in front some room. Make sure your tyres are up to temperature. Make sure your brakes are up to temperature. And more importantly, make sure you have enough fuel. There's nothing worse than getting to the final corner and then hitting low fuel mode. And all of that hard work you're putting throughout that lap going. At the moment, we've got Beastie Boy in pole, and then the two McLarens in second and third.
The guy on fourth place is also starting on the soft tires.
I think the only one inside the top 10 that will be starting on the mediums is Beastie Boy. I think everyone else qualified that tried to qualify in the mediums in Q2 qualified quite low.
Last time I checked, it was El Gerari that did his fastest lap in Q2 on the soft tire, and Killer 49J. They were 1 and 3 in the Q2, and Beastie Boys was in second place on the medium tire. And the rest of the pack is also medium tire.
Okay, so we've got quite a few starting the race on the medium tyre.
Yes.
Which is going to be an interesting strategy, because if everyone around you is starting on the soft tyre and you're starting on the medium, you aim to go a lot further into the race with the grip that you're going to have for a couple of laps longer.
Yeah, but from the start the soft tires have a little bit more grip, and that's pretty crucial for the first corner. And also for braking into turn 2 and 3. You got a little bit more exit speed.
Yeah, you also, especially around Australia, you need a bunch of grip going into turn 4, especially on lap 1, loaded up with fuel. It's a heavy braking zone. It is a difficult corner to get right by yourself, let alone when other cars are around. So
the McLaren is going for first. Yeah, 120 flat.
That's a very, very fast time by DRL. Beastie Boy got beaten to pole, so we were both wrong. So the Williams splits the McLarens. So we have McLaren and Williams on the front row, McLaren Mercedes on the second row, Racing Point and AlphaTauri on the third row, Williams and Renault on the fourth, and then I couldn't quite catch who we had on the fifth row.
On the fifth row we've got AlphaTauri and Pitboy and Killer94J with the Mercedes.
So we've got an AlphaTauri and
a Mercedes.
And a Mercedes on the fifth row.
Yes.
So that's quite an evenly bunched out field based on constructors. And obviously the constructors battle. And let's see what the constructors is looking like. So Alfa Romeo are currently ahead by 22 points. 32 points. McLaren are second on 103. Alfa leading the way with 135. Williams down on 74 in third. You know it's a game when Williams are third in the Constructors' Championship. Racing Point are in fourth with 63. Ferrari are fifth with 56. Red Bull are on their tail with 53. AlphaTauri in seventh with 50. Renault and Mercedes are separated by 2 points, with Renault being on 31 and Mercedes on 29. And then Haas are down in a lowly 10th on 15 points for the season. So that's an interesting one, as a decent points haul could completely upset, say, fourth down to 8th. Maximum of 44 points available. It's interesting, it could completely disrupt it.
Yeah, with all the points, I really don't know. I don't have the construction championships in front of me.
I've got it up, that's why I just read it out. And so we're off on... Oh, so no formation lights are out.
Formation light.
Good start by DRL and the second McLaren getting past. What has happened to Beastie Boy? Beastie Boy has dropped from 3rd down to 6th and he's just gone straight into the back of the Mercedes. IRC. Let's see if that's left him with any damage. I hope not, as that would be a bad start to his race.
Sadistic King. That's a good start.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put on the position change for the first lap. Already, Shadow Moody and Night Shadow both have penalties.
The Liverpool fan has a really bad start. Missing the front wing a little bit.
And Jack has had a decent start, he's gained a place. But the biggest winner so far is Emmett gaining 8 places. It's an incredible start. Liverpool finders obviously dropped all the way to the back of the grid with that wing damage. Oh, and we have cars going off in sector 3. That is Night Shadow. That was Rizzle Sticks going off of the track. And we have a Renault going slowly, which is Big Ben. So Big Ben obviously has front wing damage if he's coming into the pits now. And so is Shadow Moody. So we have two drivers.
King has started on the soft tires. Like the only one just chosen for starting on soft tires.
Liverpool fan has left the session already. So everyone inside, the top 2 drivers are on the medium tyre. Then we have 3rd place, which is one of the racing points. Sorry guys, I'm just going to call you by what manufacturer, well, what constructor you're driving, because your PSN names are ridiculous to pronounce. Is up in 3rd on a set of softs. And he's gaining on the McLaren in 2nd. He will be within DRS range when it is announced. So the one-stop strategy is like 9 to 11, going from the softs to the hards.
Liverpool fan is back.
It appears that he may have just disconnected for a while. It does happen.
Beastie Boy with a 125.2.
So Beastie Boy,
medium.
Yeah, Beastie Boy is now regaining the positions he lost. But bearing in mind his set of mediums will be fresher than those ahead of him because he only set the 1 lap from Q2. Jack is just holding station at the moment. He's got a train of cars behind him though. We've got Craig Speedy, Sadistic King and MX behind him. He needs to put the hammer down and ace that, otherwise he's going to get swallowed up and he's going to drop down to 11th. Sorry, drop down to 10th.
He's got 3 cars behind him that are putting on soft.
Yeah, so if he can hold them behind, he's going to, in a couple of laps, he will have the speed advantage. What he's got to do is make sure, and Craig Speedy off the track, and that means Sadistic King and MX have moved up.
That boy also a 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings.
So at the moment, we have Head Boy going backwards. He'd lost it coming out of what appears to be and it looks like he's got a little bit of front wing damage. So yes, he has. He's lost some of his end plates on the right side of his front wing. so he has lost it coming out of one of the corners, and as a result is struggling to turn, and he's just
beautiful action of El Girari. He made up a position from 3 to 2nd on the outside of Il Legani,
who is now coming back at him. Going into turn 4. Oh,
Beastie Boy also catches him.
So
more defending than.
Yeah, Beastie Boy is getting in on it now. He can smell a podium. Ideally, he should be smelling a win. We will see. And Jack has dropped a position, so MX has managed to get past Jack.
MX 12 positions gained after the start in 4 laps.
That's an excellent start from him.
cierant2014 is also a penalty, currently in 6th.
There is a long train of cars behind MX now, as we've got MX, Jack, DNS, Sadistic King, Craig Speedy and Jay Hartnell, Warrior Huntsman, Lord and Brizzle Sticks all coming towards each other. Big Ben just got himself a time penalty.
Obviously, they seem to be stuck behind cierant2014's.
Speaking of that, MX has just got past cierant2014. That was a nice move.
It's soft on soft. So no tire advantage.
We have a yellow flag in the final sector that's now just dropped off. Let's see who's going through the final sector, shall we? That may have been one of the bottom runners from Liverpool fan Ted Boy or Shadow Moody. They may have just run wide on the exit of one of the
Shadow Moody almost up a lap behind.
Yeah, it's been a difficult. He's already a minute plus down. So the leaders have already almost lapped the bottom 2 cars of the field. Give it another lap or so and he will have to get out of the way.
Quick resume. After 6 laps, the 1st till 5th are pretty close together. Then you have a reasonable gap, of course, of 5 seconds till the next boom. And then everybody till 11th
is in that train of cars. Because I've just jumped on. Oh, Jack Bacon move up the inside of Killer J at turn 4.
The outside.
Sorry, yeah, the outside. MX Bloom has just got a time penalty, which obviously exceeding track limits, as it was only 3 seconds. It's a difficult track to get right, is Australia. It's a cruel track. Get it wrong. Oh, there we go, up the inside. Not enough. Jack is compromising himself to the cars behind at the moment though, because there is now going to be a DRS train, and obviously Jack has lost a position to Sadistic King in that, so trying to make the move on Killer J, he's compromised himself that much, and he's just taken the position back as both Sadistic King and Craig Speedy have run off the track and gone wild. Sorry to the leaders here, but this midfield battle is where it is. This battle from 6th down to 11th.
I'll take the guys at the front.
Shadow Moody has dropped another 3 seconds off of the pace so far this lap. He has put on a set of medium tyres, so he's not even trying to go to the end.
Oh, we have a crash on number 2 car, El Girari.
Oh, he's out, so that will be a safety car. Full safety car, not just a virtual one. So gentlemen, the ones that have not pitted, especially those on the soft tyre, I would recommend going onto the hard tyre. I know it's 22 laps on them. You will.
The gap between 4th and 5th It's 9 seconds.
So there's like, if you pit now, you will lose time. But
the guys in the front can easily pit. Place 5 and 6, they got at least 3 seconds penalty.
yeah, it's this awkward middle ground, isn't it? Do you want to take the pit stop under the safety car, or do you want to keep going, knowing that the tyre life will be extended? Speaking of that, the leader is just coming into the pits.
Also, number 2, number 3.
Okay, let's see what tyres they go with. And he's gone with a set of hards.
MX is also going to the pits. Only Jack DNF is going.
Only Jack has kept going. I think Jack may have kept going because he might have enough tyre life left in those mediums to extend his start.
Or he's gamble on a second safety car after the restart.
Maybe, very much. But this plays well into Shadow Moody's hands, who apparently is two and a bit minutes, almost 3 minutes behind the leader.
Also, Rosie RR is not going into the pits. Currently at 6th place.
Okay, so based on this, let's see who's jumped up how many places. Jack currently leading the way because he hasn't taken a stop yet.
Hilton is going to the softs.
Who's gone on to the softs?
The Mercedes, the number 4 guy, Hilton Matt, going to the softs.
That's an interesting one. He's going to have to
Killer
stop
94J
again.
also.
So the Mercedes might think they have enough pace on the soft tyre to one overtake the cars ahead and then build enough of a gap before having to pit again. Or they're planning because Jack hasn't pitted yet.
No, they are gambling for another safety car. That's the only thing they can do.
Yeah, that's what I suggest. That's what I think too. So we have almost half the field out now on a set of hard tyres. Everyone that came into the pits during the safety car has taken a set of hards. It's the smart decision, but as everyone else has done it, it's whether or not you can make it work. Because during qualifying,
Beastie Boys got a 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings.
So he's gone wide during the safety car.
Yes.
For you, Albert, when you're doing your race setup, do you pick the car to be set up for the tyre that you want to be the longest stint during the race on, or do you just go with what you'll be quickest on throughout qualifying?
It's difficult to set up your car straight because there are so many factors to be considering with. Most of the times it's safety cars on very bad moments. So what are you going to do? Set the car for the hards, it's the easiest, or set the car on the mediums?
Which is, I personally set mine for the medium tyre. So then when I'm using the soft, the tyre wear isn't anywhere near as bad as what it would be if I was using a full soft setup.
No, well, there is not much time between the mediums on the hards.
Yeah, there's not.
The only thing you know when you're on the soft, the game, and most of the time you're driving, doesn't allow you to go that much further with the softs.
Yeah. So it depends on how you drive. So for us, I'd say that both of us are more wet weather drivers than what we are dry. We both prefer
long distance driving.
Yeah, I prefer the 100% races over the 50% too, but very few leagues will do that. Because obviously the start times and everything come into it. But the tyre deg coming into that means that the softs will then go from being 30 seconds, like 15 laps to 30 laps. So you could quite easily do a one stop around Australia, for example, on a set of soft to mediums. But on the 50% races, the tyre deck is, I'm not sure how they work it out. And we have the safety car in, and Liverpool fan just got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings under the safety car. So he's had a little bit of a off somewhere along the line, and we are racing again. Let's see who can move up. Beastie Boy still in third, so he's actually gained out of that safety car and taking the stop than he did. As before the safety car, he was in fourth. For someone like Jack, his best bet at the moment is to keep the cars behind him, maintaining his pace, but frustrating them so they're making mistakes and wearing the tyres too much, taking them outside the operating window, things like that. Otherwise, he will just suffer in a couple of laps with these cars on a hard tyre, and he's on 9-lap-old mediums. So within the next 6 to 7 laps, he will start to suffer. And we have a car running wide somewhere along the line. I'm not sure where that was. It looked like,
I think that's Big Ben. Big Ben has a gap from 3 seconds to 13th place.
Oh, I've just seen a Red Bull go sideways. And that is Night Shadow. And he has lost half of his front wing on the left hand side. That won't be another safety car, that would just be yellow flags in that sector. So that is unfortunate for Night Shadow, as he is now suffering the consequences of overcooking it.
We've got a change of lead. The McLaren is going up front, past Jack.
Oh, Jack, keep it steady.
Jack binned it.
Yeah, I've just jumped on board with Jack. Oh, yeah, Jack with below Matt there. That might be something that you need to look at. And also, one of the McLarens made a move up the inside of Beastie Boy. No, not Beastie Boy. It tried to make a move up the inside of Killer J and ended up having to wheel. It was not the place that you want to try and overtake, guys. The RL with a time penalty, so the race leader with a time penalty. At the moment, the only driver inside the top 4, sorry, without a time penalty is Jack.
Jack also got a time penalty.
On my screen, Jack does not have a time penalty.
The only one that doesn't have a time penalty is Bilton Matt on place 4.
Correction, yes, you are right. And then obviously we've just lost Night Shadow. I think he's just opted against it. He knows that the race is lost, and he's just pulled into the pits and retired.
Rosie on the 7th place is nearly a second up from Sadistic King. Rosie is on 11 laps old mediums. Sadistic King on 4 laps old hard.
Yeah, so Brizzy Fix with another time penalty there.
He's got a yellow flag in sector 3.
And that looks like it's a Renault that's backwards. Let's see if we can... Oh, virtual safety car.
And now Bilton Matt had also multiple time warning.
Let's see where Jack is on the track and see if he's close enough to get in the pits during the VSC. I think he may be.
Yes, he's in the last 2 corners. 3.
Yeah, so Jack, Jack could come into the pits onto the VSC. It will still cost him time and places, and he has done.
Coming back at around 11th, 12th place.
Yeah, won't drop any lower than 13th. But that's a smart decision. Jack has dropped all the way down to 15th. Because the VSE ended while he was in the pits. He could have done with it being a little bit longer.
So we've got in the first and second place 2 guys on the hards. We got third and fourth place on the softs.
Shadow Moody's just got a time, sorry to cut across Albert, Shadow Moody with a time penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
There are only 4 guys without a time penalty. Number 5. Hugh Leganis, Sadistic King, Reggie Speed, and Lord Set.
It's an interesting one, this, because obviously you don't want to get as many penalties as the car in front, or completely avoid getting a penalty yourself, but trying to follow the car close enough to be in DRS and still staying out of the turbulent air, it does get difficult, especially when you've been out a few laps and your tyres are starting to show their wear. You don't want that.
Got another Jay Hartnell in sector 3. A little yellow flag.
So that will be, he will have run wide and ended up on the grass. Because that's how they do it.
Oh, BC boy flunked it.
What's he done? Has he just run wide?
He lost the car in the turn 3 and 4.
So on the second DRS zone, the little straight between turn 3 and 4.
Yes. He ran a little bit on the grass and he nearly held it.
And it just started to slide.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very easy to do that around here, because there are some curbs that will just spin you off and you end up facing the wrong way. Right, let's climb the pack and see if we've got any battles going on, because that VSE, yes, Big Ben and Warrior Huntsman are getting together, and Liverpool fan is on the back of them.
And Miss Bloom is getting chased by Sadistic Ring and Craigie Speed.
Yeah, Big Ben's just come into the pits, so I think he's now opting for a fresh set of mediums. Let's see what Big Ben's going for, because he does need a tyre change. I think he's starting to race on mediums, and he's taken. Oh, he's on a set of mediums now. Oh, he was sort of in a drive-through. So that's essentially ruined his race.
But also on the 4th place, cierant2014's is also started on the soft tires, currently on a new set of softs in the last 7 laps.
Yeah. Both Mercedes started on a set of softs, didn't they?
We don't know if Bilton also started on the softs.
Because if so...
No, he didn't start it on the soft. Only cierant2014's is started on the soft, and El Iriardi, but he's already out of the race.
Yeah, Shadow Moody's gone. So at the moment we have 4 retirees from the race. Oh, Killer J, that is... You might get a penalty for that, or at least a warning. I'd assume a warning. Safety car. So someone's come off. That will be the Shadow Moody, where he retired from the session. We've got speeding in the pit lane penalties coming thick and fast, with 2 drivers picking up one. With Craig Speedy and... Oh, Big Ben, a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. That's his 2nd drive-through.
He needs a miracle.
This man needs to be Roman Grosjean today in order to score a point. That's how much of a miracle he needs. That's not to be horrible towards Roman Grosjean. Obviously, hope the man is okay, and the injuries he sustained today aren't that serious.
I'm curious if Bilton is going to the pitch at this moment. He's on 8 laps old softs.
What if it was you? What would you change them onto? Would you go for a set of mediums for the final 12 laps?
Yeah, mediums. Always the mediums. He's got a gap for 22 seconds.
Yeah, he will come out in fourth. He's got enough of a gap. Yeah, he's coming into the pits now.
He's going for the mediums.
Yeah. We've also got the leader in the pits.
Yeah, who's lost a bit of his front wing.
How'd you lose your front wing under the safety car?
Ash Russell.
Warrior Huntsman with another penalty. Oh, we've got a McLaren. The McLaren's double stacked, and it just didn't work for them.
Beastie Boy is going into the pitch for a set of soft for the last 12 laps.
It's an interesting choice, but bearing in mind the safety car's still got another lap before it comes in, minimum. Warrior Huntsman speeding in the pit lane, corner cocking, and then retires.
It's a shame.
It is a shame. So we started with 19, we added a 20th, and we are now down to 16 runners.
And 2 commentators.
Yeah, and the second commentator. If you like what we're doing here, guys, we would appreciate the thumbs up, and if you want us to join you again next Sunday, let us know. Because I'll happily do it again next Sunday. Would you, Albert?
Yeah, really nice to do.
Yeah, it's good fun. Takes away the stress of actually racing yourself, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's always easier to point out problems that somebody else has than making up for your own.
And do you know who the biggest winner is during the safety car?
Bilden?
That and Jack. Jack is now up into a podium position.
Yeah, because he got off sync with his mandatory stop.
Yeah, he took a set of hards during the VSC. So after everyone's come in during the second safety car, Jack has gone, I don't need a new set of tyres because I've got a set.
Yeah, and the only one that's gonna thread him is Rosie with the soft tyre, but in the qualies
Jack was quicker.
Yeah, both the mediums and the soft.
Yeah, I think Rosie qualified in the top 15. I think they made it to Q2, but I'm not sure if they made it to Q3.
Yeah, Q2.
So,
but don't forget the guy in fourth on the new mediums.
Yeah, who
entirely the race at the lead.
And we are away, starting again after the second safety car this race.
Beastie Boys always on the outside.
Keep it. Craig Speedy's gone from the session. So now we have 14. So there is a chance for those who obviously wouldn't have scored points a few laps ago to suddenly be within chance of points. And we have a yellow flag in sector 1.
With a Lord Shed.
That is Liverpool fan that has gone backwards, and he was in ghost mode, and it looks like he's got front wing damage, unfortunately for him. Yoshi, if you control a dyne, mate, that's unfortunate.
Beastie Boys has pulled out a second, nearly a lap.
In 3/4 of a lap, yeah. Big Ben with another time penalty.
Sadistic King from place 15 at the start, now at 6th place.
That's a very good drive from Sadistic King. So Jack is under pressure now from DRL Yoshi, and he managed to get the move. No, he hasn't completed the move yet. But
he needs to hold on so that Rosie can challenge Dear Josie for a pass.
Yeah, it needs to be the sort of thing of where Jack is backing the car behind him into the cars behind them. So they're focusing on battling the car behind to maintain their position. Whether or not it's what he does, which is the smart call, it's what I do personally, it's what I did to you in off-field.
Onto the grass.
Well held, DRL. That you kept your foot in and you managed to not spin. And now we have 13.
Points up for grab, people.
Liverpool fan has just left the session and there is a yellow flag in sector 3 along the start finish line. Killer J is also retired. So guys, we have 12.
The VSC. Jack DNF held it. And now we're on the virtual safety car.
Yeah, again. So we've had 2 safety cars, 2 virtual safety cars. Craig Speedy is also gone. Has left the session.
2 laps of racing. Beastie Boy has a gap from 3 seconds. 3.4.
Yeah, bearing in mind under the VSC, if he plays his cards right, that gap could go up depending on, and with Green again, he lost a 10th during that VSC. And he's just pinned it after, and now he's shooting away. Rosie with the 3-second time penalty there. However, Rosie and DRL both coming from 14th and 13th on the grid respectively to finishing to being
Jack lost his place.
Yep, DRL has managed to get past him. But he's coming back
in. Back, and Rosie behind them. If anybody makes a mistake, it all ends in tears.
Yep, and Jack has not got DRS.
On the outside.
Jack is using all of his ERS in order to keep the cars behind. Big Ben is also retired. So gentlemen, we have 11 left. Take your pick on who's going to be the next one in. And is that Rosie going into the pits? I believe it was. Yes, it is. Because there is a virtual safety car again. She has picked the right time, he or she, sorry, picked the right time to go out, and 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Rosie's picked the right time to come in to pick up a fresh set of tyres and to go at it for the final few points of the race. Regardless of where they finish, this will be a great drive from them, coming obviously down from 14th, back from 14th to finishing in the points. Beastie Boy, Beastie Boy has thrown it away. Drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC. And because the field is that bunched up, he's got to go from 1st to 9th. 1st to 10th, sorry. Oh, Beastie Boy, what have you done? The only thing I can suggest is him coming in and serving that ASAP.
Jack DNF is also battling.
Yeah, Jack's got the right idea though. He's still on the hard tyres, so by the end of the race, he's going to have more grip. Because obviously these drivers are now on mediums that are like 5-6 laps old. Jay with a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
Beastie Go is in the pits. Falling back to 7th place.
He'll come out in, he should come out in, 7th. But the car ahead of him, Big Ben, has left the session, so yes, we are down to 11. We started with 19, we grew to 20, and we are now back down to 11 drivers left with 7 laps to go. At this rate, to score decent points, all you need to do is finish.
To finish first, you first have to finish.
Exactly that. Right, so we've got Bill Tomac, IRC, out ahead with a penalty of 6 seconds, and he's got just under 3 seconds to DRL, who's got 3 seconds.
The only one who's laughing now is the District King. Starting at 15, now place 4 with no penalty.
He has kept it smooth, and he is within DRS, and he's getting the move done. Is he going to get it done under braking? Yes, he is.
Yes. Now it's a clean overtake. Jack is now under really
big pressure from everyone. Sadistic King is now up to 3rd. Jack is dropped down to 5th.
Oh.
Jack is now up to 4th. Oh!
Jack has
There's
lost
Jack.
it.
There's Jack. Jack is gone. Where is he going to end up? Let's see if there's any damage to his car. I'm hoping that... it looks like he's got away with it relatively unscathed. It looks like he's got all of his end plates left on the car. So let's hope he got away with it.
He's got 6 left. Beastie Boy has gained a position. Now in 5th place.
So Beastie Boy had gained on the car that was ahead of him, and then with obviously Jack's spin, who's ended up taking Jack's position too. Jack going very wide. So yes.
Rosie.
So guys, all you've got to do now to score a point is, well, finish. Jack has retired out on track. That's going to be an interesting one, see what the stewards think of that after. Because I'm pretty sure that's against the rules in most leagues to retire on track. If you want to retire in the pit.
Yeah, it's something for the stewards to find out.
So,
don't be the judge, jury and the executioner.
I'm just saying it might be something the stewards have to look at, because in most leagues it is the case that if you're going to retire on the lead lap, it has to be done in the pits.
Yes.
And at the moment we have 10 runners, all on the lead lap.
I think Sadistic King for the win.
How are his tyres looking? Yeah, Beastie Boys just picked up another penalty. Sadistic King might start to struggle. He's 7 laps in on his softs.
But that are brand new softs. And Bill and Derek Josie had them also in qualifying.
Yeah,
out lap, first lap, in lap.
MX with another time penalty. Yeah, actually, saying that, Beastie Boys just got past Sadistic. Lord's just got a time penalty. So, Sadistic King and Beastie. So, the gap between Sadistic King and the leader is 3.1 seconds. The leader's got 6 seconds worth of time penalties. And so far, Sadistic doesn't have a single penalty to his name.
The gap to from 1st position to Sadistic King is 10.3 seconds at the moment.
I've got it as... Yeah, sorry. I had it as interval, not from leader. So, yeah, all you've got to do to keep it on the track and try and pull in that gap by about 4 seconds in the final 3 laps of the race. which that sounds simple enough. It's not. So we have a Mercedes out in P1, a McLaren in P2, a Williams in P3, Ferrari in P4, an Alfa in P4, a Ferrari in P5, another McLaren in P6, an Alfa Tauri in P7 and P8, then the other Ferrari of Rosie down in P9, and then we have Lords in the Alfa Romeo in P10. And at the moment, this means that Haas aren't scoring any more points, and the two teams that needed the points, being McLaren and Ferrari, have both scoring relatively well so far today. So it'll be an interesting one to see how this ends up. But there is a nice battle in the heating up for P3. We've got P4. We've got Sadistic King, MX, and one of the McLarens.
McLaren is going for the first place. The gap is now 2.2 seconds. Last lap it was 3.7.
So pulled in a second and a half in a lap. That's impressive.
Yes. And he's also driving on a controller. And Bilton is driving with a wheel.
That's even more impressive then, because we all know the difference between controller and wheel.
Beastie Boys also driving, I think, with a controller.
Yeah, I'd say so by the minor corrections that he's constantly making along the straight. But he's just so damn quick. DRL with a time penalty. So he is, based on this, he's not going to take the lead.
I don't know how many penalties Bilton has, how many seconds?
Bilton has 6. But that lead is dropping. It's now down to 1.6 seconds. So,
yeah. Next lap DRS.
And then hope that the leader gets a penalty. Well, the current leader, Bilton, gets a time penalty. That's all he can hope for. But he's making big inroads into that lead. Through sector 1 he's not as quick by the looking at the delta, but from there on out he's quicker throughout the rest of the track. And Sadistic King is just one wide going through turn 5. This battle for P4 is an interesting one. There's 3 drivers. No, Sadistic King is definitely not finishing P4.
Ooh.
What's happened there? MX has lost
got a spin. He's got touched on the wheel. He's getting squeezed on the inside.
One of them where it's just unavoidable, and unfortunately one driver has to come off worse.
McLaren is taking a lot of points.
Yeah. So Sadistic is looking at finishing in 5th based on his penalties.
Sadistic don't have any penalties.
No, sorry, I'm looking at MX. That's looking at finishing in 6th due to penalties.
Currently in 2nd place, DRL Josie is 0.7 seconds behind of Bilton.
On the final lap. He may win on track if he gets a good enough run through this final lap. But after the penalties come into place.
Maybe in defending, Bilton makes a mistake, or the game suddenly gives him a 3-second time penalty.
It could happen. It could happen on the final corner. He might run a little bit wide and might get a penalty. But I'm going to follow them on board for the final sector as we come to the end of sector 2. it's this chicane that can make or break the lap. And
he's got him.
Yeah, he's a lot closer.
It's
he doesn't have any ERS though. Yeah, so it looks like he's going to take the win on track and then get immediately demoted down to P2. Actually, he's looking at getting... Yeah, it'll be P2 he finishes. You wouldn't bother fighting P1.
The Beastie Boy is still getting 3rd place.
That's impressive. That's a solid drive.
Oleganis should make up some time, but no.
And we'll follow Sadistic over the line. Sadistic finishes 5th, whereas MX will finish 6th. And we've got a battle between the Alpha Taurus now on the final corner.
Yeah, but the one has 9 seconds penalty and the other 11.
It sucks when that happens, doesn't it? Jade gets a 5-second penalty for an unserved penalty, which I'm assuming is a drive-through or speeding in the pit lane penalty.
So when you don't take a drive-through penalty, it costs you 5 seconds.
At the end of the race, or it disqualifies you if you don't do it within a certain amount of laps. There we go, and that is the end of it. That is one way to cross the line by the Alfa Romeo coming in P10. I personally would give driver of the day to Sadistic, not MX.
Congrats, lad.
But that's my opinion.
Sadistic, yeah, from place 15 to
P5.
P5.
Yeah, so getting 10 positions, had a very solid race, didn't get any time penalties.
He did get 1 time penalty, but he served it in the pit.
Yeah, he got 1 for speeding in the pit lane.
Yeah.
So, which that might be cleared, you don't know. Because we both know that you can hit the pit lane limiter and nothing happens and you still get a penalty.
Yes, yes.
So guys, this is our top 10 as that's all we finished with. So Lords in P10, Rosie in P9, Jay Hartnell P8, Ped Boy in P7, MX in 6th, Sadistic King in 5th, Ill Agains in P4, Beastie Boy in 3rd, DRL in 2nd, and Bilton Matt in 1st, taking home the win. He will be proud of himself after that.
Yeah, especially when he has a different tire strategy. Soft, medium, hard.
Yep, that is exactly it.
Soft, hard. Or medium. At least he started on soft. He takes a second stint on soft. It's nice to see that he takes the advantage from that.
Yeah, it happened. It's nice to see that someone took the alternative strategy other than the usual one. But that's all we've got time for today, guys. Yeah, if you want us to do this again next week, let Liverpool fan know, and we'll happily jump back on if you do want us. So for this week, see you later. You got anything to say, Albert?
No, it's fun to do it, and keep up the good work.
See you later, guys.
Bye bye.